I want to talk a little bit about wildlife photography, not in any depth, but just a couple of things to think about when you go. And this does relate a little bit to a blog I have also recorded on travel. So the first thing is to do some research. If it's wildlife, just research the animal, where they live. If they are predators, do they hunt during the day or at night? What do they do when you've got good light? How often are you likely to see them? So for example, when I photographed tigers in India, this was kind of a private trip, and I went into the reserve at Kanha 15 times, I think it was. There was, that sounds slightly wrong, but I know it was an odd number because Wednesday afternoon it was closed. So that was something to know. If you got on a Wednesday and you were hoping to go doing some photography in the afternoon, forget it, because the park was actually closed every Wednesday afternoon to give everything and everybody a break. But when I went there, out of those trips, I maybe saw tigers about half the time, and that was pretty well. And I've certainly heard stories of people going to tiger reserves and not seeing a tiger at all. They've only been there for a few days. So I was there for over a week. So that's the first thing to understand there, how likely are you to get a sighting. Another thing is time of year. If there are migrations, those kind of things. So there's wildebeest migration in, I think it's in Tanzania. But you get these seasonal migrations going on, so be aware of those, because you might want to get that, or if they're not going on, there might not be any animals to shoot at all. Another one is humpback whales going past Sydney. So the humpback whale season in Sydney is really from mid to late May to mid-ish November, because the whales are coming from Antarctica, where they've been in the summer. They're going past Sydney up to the where they give birth and where they mate. That's up in the sort of subtropical areas of Queensland. So they head past Sydney on the northern migration, do the business up in the north, then come back again, so that they're back in Antarctica to feed during the southern winter. Sorry, the southern summer. But it does mean that if you want to go see in Wales and you turn up in February, you're not going to see very much at all. So do a bit of research like that. Check out what you can about the animal and their habits. If you can, what's the kind of behaviour you like to see? So I know we're going back to humpback whales because I've done a lot of that. The whales going north tend to be, so the early part of the season, they tend, it's not guaranteed by any means, but they tend to be more interested in just getting there. Whereas on the way back, they seem to be more relaxed and more playful, and on balance, you tend to get better interactions with the whales. They tend to be more likely to swim up to the boat, for example, and have a look at you and all this kind of thing. So just find out what you can before you go, and that will set your expectations, maybe even make you rethink your trip, because if you have a particular animal you want to see or a particular idea in mind, and they're just not around that time of year, then obviously that's just not going to work. So hopefully that's useful though, just really some tips on wildlife photography in the planning stage of it, and things to bear in mind. So speak to you again in another blog.